the 13th, Friday.
By NJIT.
Friday, April. So Johnny Mathis will be playing Friday the 13th in April. That's crazy.
There's going to be some bad luck over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you mentioned Josh on the radio before. I'll give you one trivia. He was talking about, I guess it was 1967, so it's 50 years ago now.
Summer of Love?
Steve Chilcott, do you know that name, Chris?
The pitcher the Mets picked ahead of Reggie Jackson?
Catcher.
But yeah, catcher. Catcher.
Reggie Jackson was picked second by Oakland, and
Reginald Martinez.
They went with Steve, who never played a game.
That's right.
And so they kept fantasizing, what if Reggie was on the 69 Mets, and would he have fit in? And
I know Reggie Jackson's father always said, he wouldn't have played for the Mets. He would have stayed at Arizona State, whatever it was. But I'm like, come on. Of course he would have. Reggie loved it.
He had some great years on Oakland.
Yeah.
I mean, they won 3 in a row, right?
That's right.
Oakland A's.
Let's see. The 70.
Sal Bando, Joe Rudy.
Well, that was the whole. The whole team was
Catfish.
The Catfish, and they made that
Raleigh Fingers.
When Charlie Finley wanted to trade that whole team, and then they had to step in and void all the deals. But Bando wound up going to the Brewers, and Joe Rudy went to the Angels, and it was really Bernie Carbo.
We all know the best player who never played for the Mets, though, right?
Who's that?
Sid Finch.
Yeah, Sid Finch.
Come on.
I knew as soon as he said it, I was going to say Sid Finch.
Does anybody still get Newsday paper anymore, like the Sunday Newsday?
Well, that's the funny. My mother's been in the hospital, so my brother brings up the paper to her every day, and then I go to visit her, and she just got out of the hospital after 50 days this week. She's in rehab this week, and she's like, "Okay, I read the papers. Take them home with you." And I look at her like, I don't read the paper anymore. I have it online, And I was Mr. Buy the paper forever up until 2 years ago. People would say, read it online. I'm like, no, I love a newspaper in my hand, whatever. And then all of a sudden, 2 years ago, when I got a different phone, I was like, I read everything online.
Are you a Met fan?
Except for the Target circulars on Sundays.
This is George, right?
Yeah, George.
Yeah. So George, are you a Met fan?
Absolutely, yeah.
So if Edgardo Alfonso would become the coach of the Mets, would you go back to Met games?
Number 13, sure, why not?
But Cabrera wears number 13, today. Not that it would matter because he'll be on the team next year.
Yeah, but you think because they disagreed with me last week. Do you think if Edgardo Alfonso was the next Mets manager, would people go back to games?
I don't really think it's a manager. They were so close the last 2 years that they have the core. This is just a strange year.
I'm just talking about fan-wise though, because even when they were doing good, people were still not coming out every night.
Yeah. I know there's some people who don't like Terry. He's actually the longest tenured manager now.
Yes.
Past Davey Johnson.
Yeah, I don't.
Which is that's quite a feat. It's amazing to think that the all-time Mets winningest games managed
Bobby V had some years under his belt.
But because the Mets are off today, they played the Mets all-time team on SNY from 6 to 8 tonight.
But that keeps updating because of the years, right?
Well, yeah, but it's so Keith Hernandez first base makes perfect sense, right?
Not John Olerud?
Who did they put at second base? Because Fonzie was all over the diamond. Fonzie's on the team. Was he at second or was he at third? Maybe he was at second.
I think 2000.
They must have put Wright as the third baseman all-time team. Who'd they have at short? It wasn't Buddy Harrelson didn't win it. So who was their all-time
Jose
shortstop?
Reyes?
Must have been Reyes, yeah.
There we go.
And then Strawberry was right.
Beltran center?
I'm trying to think. Did they put Beltran in center? This was from a few years ago. And then they had to do a right-handed pitcher and a left-handed pitcher, a right-handed closer, left-handed closer. Tug McGraw.
Oh, come on. Left-handed closer. That's like a shoe-in for Franco.
No, but he didn't get a Tug McGraw guy.
Oh.
Which is fine with me because John Franco's my least favorite player of all time. John Franco threw more trash than his old man. That's what I like to say.
If they were to do an all-time team like that, say for like basketball, and then put them against any other sport, what team you think would be the best team? What organization?
To choose from like the Celtics or the Lakers?
Celtics, all time throughout. So the Bulls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for example, you would probably have maybe Derrick Rose at point guard, Jordan at shooting guard.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the Bulls, but actually, no. You put Jordan on any team, it's going to be better.
Yeah,
because you'll still have Jordan and Pippen on that team, but no, because the Celtics will have Larry Bird, they'll have Bill Russell, and then you can go and take.
Do you go with Wilt? Chamberlain?
Well, he was up to the Lakers, so if you Wilt did play for the Lakers, but you got Abdul-Jabbar, and you got Magic, and you got Worthy, and you got Kobe, and you got Shaq.
All right.
Oh, wow.
I think I might have to take the Lakers.
Yeah. But of course, I don't know. You'd have to make Kareem a stretch four, right? You'd have to play him at power forward, because you got Shaq.
And Shaq at center.
Though actually, Magic Johnson play any of those positions, so
exactly. Yeah, that team would definitely dominate.
Well, you'd have Worthy because you'd play Worthy at small forward, I guess. You put Kobe at shooting guard.
Magic Johnson
at
the one.
Point, yeah.
Kareem and then
you
Shaq.
get Kareem and Shaq.
Yeah, you're winning. You're winning. You're going to win.
I mean, Larry
closest
Bird
might be
and
the
Bill
Celtics.
Russell would be kind of good, too.
Yeah.
On the same team. And then any one of those...
and then I guess you throw KG at power
forward. You can get those guys in their prime, yeah.
KG at power forward.
So,
but no, I think
but there's also guys who might have been a better team together, just never wouldn't have won it. Like, you put Patrick Ewing with all the Knicks guys that they had, and maybe that could have been a good team too.
It wouldn't have been bad, but the Lakers, maybe the Lakers would have just
And the Lakers also had Wilt Chamberlain for a year or two. So.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, that would have ended a lot of conversations when you saw that starting lineup coming.
But
it
is, as a Mets fan, just watching, they're reaching for best, and they've now been around since 1962. So now we're talking about I know they were an expansion team back then, but they've been around over a half century. So when you're looking at the likes of, like, their all-time home run leader is still Darryl Strawberry. It's like, okay. Whereas with the Yankees, you'd have, and I know they've been around 100 years, blah, blah, blah. You'd be looking at, like, oh, geez, we have too many guys to pick from. Best catcher, you're like, well, there's Bill Dickey, there's Yogi Berra, there's Aaron Munson. It's like best shortstop. Oh, there's Rizzuto, there's Jeter. And you'd be all over the place.
So if you had to go and do that for baseball, you was just saying it would be the Yankees that would win it?
It would have to be.
It would have to be?
Yeah, just in terms of what they have.
27 championships.
Yeah,
right?
just from just Gehrig and Ruth and DiMaggio and Mantle and it's like, oh, okay.
So who would come the closest to them? Because it seems like that's a clear shot. So who would be the closest?
Who's had a great history in terms of?
It can't be the Red Sox, right?
No.
They
had such a long.
Like it has to be. Ted Williams,
Dodgers?
all-time great. I would say the Dodgers. 'Cause you have to use both the Brooklyn and Los Angeles, and there's been enough superstar. You've
1955 they won, right?
Yeah, and you've got them bums, and you got Koufax, and then you'd have or Hershiser if you think his '88 season if you want, but. They have enough superstars. Well, let's think of who. I mean, the Cardinals have.
I was just about to say
they've
St.
got
Louis.
some great players over time, but you look at the scene in the whole. Oh, the Reds. The Reds had the big red machine, right? So you're talking Johnny Bench, Pete Rose, Joe Morgan. Yeah. Those guys did really. Then you put Eric Davis in there. But it's going to be the Yankees no matter what. Yeah. But just. You look over time. The Cubs had Ernie Banks and Ron Santo, and you bring guys today
Chris
from the
Bryant.
team. Yeah, but again, it's going to be. Everyone's going to have great players. The Braves with their pitching, and then the
pitcher
Braves
will keep them in the games.
Braves had Hank Aaron.
Yeah,
Braves had Eddie Matthews, or not? Was it? They had.
Yeah, that was him.
They had Chipper Jones.
Yeah.
They had enough players that you're like, the Braves would have been a pretty good team in terms of.
I think Larry Jones.
Larry Jones.
And what did he name his son?
Shay.
I saw him a few.
Trivia.
Yep.
I saw him a few years ago. Is he still in the league? Mike Pelfrey? I remember he used to give me headaches.
Mike Pelfrey is still in the league.
He's with the Twins.
Yeah, and he's available. Like they're talking about people who are available in trades, and his name has been mentioned as a pitcher who could be available as bullpen help.
I don't.
Oliver Perez.
Oh,
still in the game.
Crazy.
Nationals.
Still in the game.
I don't think I
still hops over the surface.
That's the most disliked Met I've ever since I've been playing.
Who is that?
Mike Pelfrey. I hated
Oliver
him.
Perez. I put up there.
How
too.
about Aaron Heilman?
Notre Dame guy. Yeah. Aaron Heilman wasn't disliked. He just
he's
was
very
not
frustrating.
he was just not a major league player.
Yeah.
He was undefeated his senior year of college, and he just was not a major league player. He should not have been in the major leagues.
Two people that make me angry the most: Aaron Heilman and Tyler Clippard.
Kenny Rogers angers me because all he had to do was throw one strike in that game against the Braves. Right? Was it the Braves? Yeah, the Braves or the Giants? Braves. One strike, and the umpire gave him one. Where it was like, all right, strike. Only because you're a veteran, I'll give you that strike, but you better get close. And he didn't. He threw a ball. Yeah. Meanwhile, Octavio Dotel, who had thrown like 80 innings that week, and his arm was, and as a rookie, and his arm was hanging by a thread, is like, put me in. No, how to go with the veteran Kenny Rogers.
Two other players I didn't like: LaTroy Hawkins.
Troy Hawkins was great.
But not for the Mets.
LaTroy Hawkins was also, like, in baseball, known as like one of the nicest guys in the game. It was like him and Curtis Grant.
But for the Mets, he was terrible.
Yeah. Well, he was like 40 at that point.
And then also position player what I hated the most, Jeremy Burnitz, when he came back the second time.
JB. Yeah, well, JB hasn't been a good initials for the Mets.
Jay Bruce,
Jeremy Burnitz, and Jason Bay.
Yeah.
Jason Bay. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. It's Pelfrey then Bay, but they're fighting for that number one spot.
Mets always got the guys after,
Oh, yeah.
They were Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson.
But Bruce, because you know he when he came over to the Mets, he didn't have a great second half.
J Bell.
But how
J Bell.
But how much he could finish with some good numbers, close to what he even had last year.
He's gonna have 30 and 100. Really, if you think about it.
He's doing what. And I guess
he's only, and I'm saying only in quotes here, he's only getting paid $13 million. So they're not paying crazy money to him. He's doing great.
Yeah, he's doing great. That's what I'm saying. It looked like he's going to have around the same numbers.
He's coming through. This team is doing so poorly, but Jay Bruce is doing quite well.
It's been
Flores. I can't believe how slow Flores is.
Yeah,
talk about. I mean, he's just slow.
Yeah, like he got bricks attached.
But
to his
he's
feet.
a guy who can hit. He's a major league hitter.
Yeah,
but he doesn't have a position.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know what he plays.
It came up as a shortstop, which means you can play anywhere.
Yeah,
but he just doesn't. Do you put him at first? I mean, if he's first, he doesn't have home run power to be at first base. He is tall.
We know what Conforto been doing, but can you see the Mets ever developing Lagares or no? He's
just a glove.
He's just a glove. He's not the bat. It will never be there.
Doesn't look like it. Yeah. He's been around since like 2012.
Yeah, right. I've been waiting for him to take that next step.
Phenomenal glove.
It's like d'Arnaud. The bat is not there.
But d'Arnaud, nothing's there. d'Arnaud was supposed to be a hitting catcher.
Time to move on already.
d'Arnaud was the centerpiece of the R.A. Dickey deal.
Yeah,
Syndergaard was a throw-in. And look at that. Now Syndergaard is the future, or we hope. Yeah. And d'Arnaud is a guy who just...
They still don't want to move on. Why?
They got a 34-year-old journeyman in Rene Rivera playing catcher over him.
Yeah,
Well, because I think while he cycles through his better living through chemistry is what Rene Rivera's got going on. But I mean, they got guys playing like T.J. Rivera, Rene Rivera. These guys are not major leaguers. They're propping up. Well,
T.J. Rivera deserves a chance. Who's not going to sock off the ball last year?
Guy, I think. Yeah, he's T.J. Rivera, Ty Kelly, who I know is not a Met, but just like they
had a lot of those guys. The Danny Munoz, Daryl Siciliani.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
John Mayberry Jr.
John Mayberry Jr. Wow.
And Daniel Murphy's on the Nationals.
But I don't mind because I like Walker. I like Neil Walker.
Yeah.
I think he's apparently he and Bruce are the captains of this team. That they lead this team. So
the only thing I really like about Daniel Murphy, he really brings that football mentality to the game. He the aggression, the pump up everybody. He was the life of the Mets when his last year.
Well, Daniel Murphy was a guy who played defense like he had a frying pan for a glove for a long time. He couldn't run the bases, and he was so maddening as a hitter. He was inconsistent, and then he got together. But you couldn't take the chance of paying him that kind of money for that many years after what he had fooled you with the years before. Also, in the clubhouse, when they had they were honoring some gay group or whatever, he was quoting biblical verses. So in New York in 2016, 2017, you can't have that in the clubhouse. You just can't have it.
And it's easy. It's so easy with the talent that he has around him in the Nationals to look like he's doing. Doing such a great job. If Daniel Murphy was on the Mets and they would have gave him the money that he probably would have got after that year he just had, it would have been, okay, we have Cespedes, and then it's you. So you would have to show up. He doesn't have that type of pressure on him in Washington where he needs to have crazy numbers. So
but he really carried him to the World Series.
Yeah,
Nobody else
did.
did.
He did. So he could play freely and just enjoy this time, enjoy the road.
Yeah.
So. Because I don't know if the Nationals will ever, even though they're really talented, will ever get over that step and actually make it. To
the LCS.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say the World Series. Yeah, but the NLCS. So I don't know if they're going to ever make that step, but they're going to be good for a while. Well, we'll see if Bryce Harper does come to the Yankees. How long he?
Don't say that.
You know what I'm saying? We'll see how long.
The richest owner in baseball is the owner of the Nationals, but Bryce Harper wants the Yankees, and baseball needs Bryce Harper to be a Yankee.
So how? Let's just say he doesn't fall off a cliff out of nowhere, Bryce Harper. How good is he going to be hitting in that stadium?
It'll be very fun. Well, completely that short course. But think about what he'll have to do with his hair and his beard.
Yeah,
that's the funny thing.
I can't even fathom that, so I'm not even going to make an opinion.
I mean, the better Yankee. The better Yankee is Trout, but he's not going to be a Yankee.
I'm going to be strong, opinionated on this.
Yeah,
I don't think he will be a Yankee.
Okay.
I do not think he will be a Yankee. Why?
There's a lot of places he can go.
Why is it that they give him the 1-year extension to begin with?
That's just to go around arbitration and give him real money.
Don't the Nationals, I might be wrong, don't they have one of the biggest stadiums? Furthest, I mean...
Doesn't matter. We've seen in the past how many stadiums in history that owners have made the stadium better for their star player.
Yeah.
It happened. Why do you think? Why do you think in Boston
They brought
the bullpens in the outfield? Do you know why? So Ted Williams could hit more home runs.
Now hold on 1 second while I give our legal ID. Top of the hour. It's 10 o'clock, so I'm gonna air this.
The Yankees win 20.